The latest Pompey news, updates every day from the Pompey Sound news desk.
Terry Devlin has been named in the Sky Bet Championship Team of the Week following a fine showing against Blackburn. The versatile Northern Ireland international, who has mostly been utilised at right-back this season, shone at both ends of the pitch in the Fratton Park victory. Goals from Callum Lang and Ibane Boat saw the Blues battle from behind to secure all 3 points and climb out of the bottom three. But it was the performance from Devlin which stood out most, and he was also named in the Team of the Week for the entire EFL.
So congratulations to Terry Devlin. I always think, and I wonder if you agree, that one of the most insightful football crowd chants of all time is Terry Devlin, he plays where he wants. Because it's fun, of course. It praises one of our players, of course. But also, I think it shows an insight into, and I don't mean to be patronising when I say this, I think it shows the fans' insight into the way John Messino likes to set up a team with as many players in as many appropriate positions as possible, able to adapt during the course of the game and play where they are needed and recognise when to change or adjust their positioning set skills and senses so that they go from being a right back to being a right-sided midfield player, or if necessary shoring up the two central defenders if you're a fullback like Terry Devlin. He doesn't just play where he wants, he plays where he's needed, and he's quietly attracting attention, so we'd better just keep an eye on him and make sure that he's happy. He's a happy bunny. He seems to be pretty well grounded, I think, for a player who has it in him, I feel, do you agree, to play in the Premier League eventually. He's got the lot. He's adaptable, but his specialist position is a very important one, whatever Roy Keane may have to say about it, or is it Jamie, what's his face, when they're denigrating Gary Neville. The right back is a very important position if you're playing four at the back. So maybe Devlin's versatility will come into its own fully if it is part of John Messino's agenda to, where appropriate, have just three at the back. You may be interested to know, though, that this Sky Bet Championship Team of the Week is compiled in a very interesting way. Now, I've never bothered to look into it before. I don't personally set great store in these things, but there's an element of kudos about it, and Terry Devlin will no doubt have mentioned it in his most recent phone call to his mum or whatever. But if you look at the team that they've compiled as the Team of the Week in the Championship, what's really interesting is that the majority of them play for teams that are struggling a little bit. That includes us, of course. But you've also got, there's a Derby centre-forward, Patrick Agyemang, who got 2 for Derby against Sheffield Wednesday the Saturday before. Then there is Jovan Makama, who got got 2 for Norwich against that lot up the road, again on Saturday. Then you've got Ephraim Mason-Clark, Coventry. There's got to be a Coventry and or a Middlesbrough player in there somewhere, and it's him. He got the goal in their 1-0 win over Bristol City. Then you've got next to him is Brian de Keersmaker, who got the only goal for Oxford, in their 2-1 defeat at Preston. Then you've got Bobby de Cordova Reid, who got the first, Leicester 3, Ipswich 1. And then you've got Jordan Story for Preston, who put Preston in the lead against Oxford. So these are clubs that will welcome any positive publicity, any positive news. And in order to decide which of the players representing those clubs go on the team sheet or for Team of the Week, you pick the goal scorer, which makes Devlin's achievement even greater, because that honour could have gone to Lang, and it could just as easily have gone to Boat. But that's how these things seem to be put together to me. And however, it doesn't kindle an enormous amount of interest in me. I don't know about yourself, but a little bit of background goes a long way.
Portsmouth hot prospect Teo Singer kept his name in the conversation for a first-team spot by scoring again, though it came as Pompey's under-18s crashed out of the FA Youth Cup against Newcastle United. The 18-year-old striker has had a memorable season so far, scoring on his senior debut against Reading in the Carabao Cup after coming on for the final 20 minutes. Just a few weeks later, Singer went on his first loan to Pompey's non-league neighbours Moneyfields, and has been on fire, banging in an impressive 13 goals in 18 games to fuel their promotion charge in the Isthmian League South Central Division. His loan agreement allowed him to link back up with Pompey's youth team for the long trip to the northeast. After his side went down 2-0 inside 7 minutes, it was Singer who gave them a glimmer of hope, pulling one back midway through the first half. Despite the team's eventual 5-2 loss, he was a livewire throughout, constantly troubling the Newcastle backline with his pace and smart movement. Now the promising forward will head back to Moneyfields to continue his impressive run, with games against Littlehampton and Portchester on either side of the new year. With his reputation growing by the week, Pompey Academy coach Sam Hudson dismissed any talk of wrapping Singer in cotton wool, instead praising the huge impact he made during the cup tie.
He's a very smart kid, he's got a real good head on his shoulders. I don't think he needs to be protected because he's a good footballer, he's a very good finisher and scores a lot of good goals. He is doing really well on loan, in a men's environment. It's just doing what is right for him, and he is a very, very smart boy, and he is really great to coach. He's a lovely kid, so he doesn't really need protecting, we just have to keep putting him into the positions where he can score goals, and him putting himself in those positions, which he does anyway. I am pleased for him that he has continued his scoring streak, he helped us get back into the game, and I was pleased with him.
John Messino says this about Singer.
Teo's had a pretty good season and scored a lot of goals, which is the most important thing for a centre-forward. Obviously he has scored for us as well, so that's where we are, keeping an eye on him. Ultimately Teo's a second-year scholar, so we're going to have to make a decision on him. Nothing soon, but he's made good progress this year. He has a bit of everything, he's not the biggest, but his movement is good, and he can hold the ball up well. The biggest thing with Teo is what we saw in that Reading game, he has a decent enough eye for goal, and will get across his man. That's ultimately what centre-forwards are paid to do, score goals, and he has done that in abundance this year. If we thought Teo was ready, we'd call him up and have him with the first team, but at the minute he's on a good line of progress. He's probably not ready for the first team at the moment. If we thought he was, then we'd have him back. At the minute he's doing well where he is.
I don't know about you, but I always feel a little bit nervous about going overboard about an up-and-coming youngster, especially before he's really cut his teeth and shown what he could do. They reckon that Wayne Rooney was ready for Premier League football at the age of 14. And when he suddenly arrived, aged 16, there was absolutely no doubt about it. And I think he held down a starting place in the Everton lineup until Manchester United came for him, right from the moment after he scored that famous goal from outside the box. Singer, of course, is not going to scale the heights that Wayne Rooney scaled, but he is a genuine prospect. And what the management team at Pompey have to do, and they seem to be doing it well, is keeping him grounded, keeping his feet on the ground, reminding him that there's a good deal of work to be done, but at the same time, shoring up, supporting, maintaining, developing the right level of confidence that a young player needs in alliance with a good footballing ability and a good footballing brain, and then you've got yourself a serious prospect. So you praise, but not too much. And you also offer constructive criticism, but again, not too much. It's an art form, bringing on talented youngsters, and it's beginning to look, isn't it, as though Pompey have got that art form cracked, or at least are well on the way to cracking it down at the academy.
There is no player better who can cross the ball better than Josh Murphy in world football. That is the resounding verdict of George Elek from the respected Not the Top 20 podcast, who is adamant the winger is one of the best players in the championship.
The goal that put Blackburn ahead was a brilliant goal by Ohashi. I didn't really know he had this in him. Gets the ball on the left-hand side, runs past the defender, cuts inside onto his right foot, and bends it into the right-hand corner. It was brilliant. And then there is no player in world football who pulls off assists like Josh Murphy does. It makes me put my head in my hands. This was another one. Again, it's frankly outrageous that he's right-footed. The interesting thing about this is that he did the trademark, picking the ball up on the left-hand side, was drifting inside onto his right foot. You could obviously see that he wasn't going to get the space to get a shot off, so he went back onto his left foot, and put in one of those crosses where he contorts his whole body to make the cross pinpoint rapid, and it's impossible to defend against. It evades the Blackburn backline, and Callum Lang is there at the back post to profit from just another outrageous bit of skill from a player whose talent is basically beyond anyone at this level for creating chances from that area. I know Pompey fans feel like he should be doing it more often, and I get that, and I know from personal experience that Murphy isn't doing it consistently, but I also firmly believe that if there is one player that is going to help Portsmouth out of this relegation scrap, then it will be Josh Murphy. Lang finished it off well, and then just a free header for Ibane Boat from a corner that he headed home to secure the 3 points.
Yes, it's very nice for Josh Murphy to hear that somebody with an element of kudos in what he says that he is, did he say the best player in the world at crossing the ball? There's a website somewhere out there that has measured the speed that footballers travel at, and I believe it nominated Murphy as being one of the top 10 fastest footballers on the planet. He's got that as a little badge on his lapel, and now he's got the best crosser of the ball in the world on his lapel. It's a little bit hyperbolic, isn't it? But it does get the attention on the news agenda. There's a lot of noise out there, and anything that you can do if you're a professional, and I believe George Ellick is a professional, he is a podcaster. His podcast is sponsored by a very powerful magazine, I believe, in America called The Athletic. How much they sponsor him for, obviously that's his business. He's a young man, and he makes waves, and he makes people sit up and listen. So Josh Murphy, one of the fastest players in world football, and now one of the best, if not the best, crosser of the ball in world football. And as George rightly points out, with his what should be his wrong foot. But a lot of professional footballers nowadays have got 2 feet. Surely you have to. I do see some players just bringing it round to their favoured foot, and it's annoying because all you've got to do is practice hard with your wrong foot. I see players sometimes making tackles, trying to block crosses with their wrong foot and block shots with their wrong foot. And that wrong foot doesn't extend quite as far as the foot that you should be using. Some players need to be 2-footed. The great Bobby Charlton said that the reason he was just as good with his left foot, he scored a lot of goals with his left foot, which was his natural foot, just as good with his left foot as he was with his right foot, which he used to score some of his most famous goals from 25, 30 yards, was because when he was a boy, he used to go out to a bomb site near where he lived in Manchester, and he had a knackered old ball, but he used to practice whacking it at a tumble-down wall as hard as he could with his wrong foot, night after night after night, and it paid off. I suppose there's a message there for some of the youngsters coming through the academy, that Josh Murphy could be the best crosser of the ball in the world with his wrong foot.